Hey guys, Lexus Driver here. Welcome to the final part. I'm gonna say this is the final part. I might have some more videos about each city in the U.S. But on this video, I'm gonna talk about the least discussed part of the United States, which is the Midwest, the Midwestern United States. And if I had to pick one region in the U.S., aside from the West Coast and the Northeast Coast and the Southeast Coast, if I had to pick one, I would say it would be the Midwest if I like the cold. Now, when people talk about the Midwest, the only discussed part of the Midwest would be this city. So, if you guys watch a lot of movies, if you guys watch a lot of movies, the vast majority of films that take place, New York, Miami, California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, etc. People when people talk about the Midwest, this is the only part they talk about, the city of Chicago. Now, Chicago, this city, it's home of the Willis Tower, also known as the Sears Tower. Um, I feel like Chicago is the only part of the Midwest that's been discussed a lot. So, if any of you guys are from Chicago, Chicago, a lot of people have a lot, in movies and TV shows, Chicago has a lot of representation in movies, because when people talk about the Midwest, I'd say this is the only thing they talk about, Chicago. And yes, I would say Chicago is a major city in in the Midwestern United States, but the part of aside, not only Chicago but also Detroit, you know what I mean. Uh, but if there was one city that hasn't been if there was one part of the U.S., if there was one part of the Midwestern United States that hasn't been talked so much, I would say I would say it would be North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas. Yeah, these states. Not a lot of, according to one of the YouTubers I was watching, uh, this part of the United States, the Midwest, wasn't been haven't been getting a lot of representations in movies and TV shows. Um, I would say the vast majority of the states in the Midwest are landlocked, and during the winter it gets really really cold because there's not a lot of bodies of water. Well, if you live in Chicago, you get a body of water and it gets cold, but for other states like North Dakota and South Dakota, these states can get really cold. If I were in that part of the United States, I'd be wearing an overcoat. So yeah, but during the summer, this region gets hot, really hot. So yeah, and if there was one state I like in the Midwest aside from Illinois, I would choose North Dakota. So, because if I like the cold, I can tolerate the cold. But here, here in the Philippines, it's hot all day long. Um, for my viewers who are for my viewers who are from America, um, I know in where you are in America, it's hot during the summer, but here it is hot all day long. But not only it's hot, but it's also humid because we're actually where I'm from in the Philippines. It's we're above the equator, but below the Tropic of Cancer. So uh, what I would like to say about North Dakota, why I would choose that state in the Midwest. Well, since I like the cold, I would say North Dakota gets really cold. It gets really cold during the winter. Um, so if there was one, so for North Dakota, if there was one place I like to live in North Dakota, I would choose the state capital because just to get familiar with the state, how to live. And I'm pretty sure for people who live in North Dakota, the houses they live in have fireplaces. And in North Dakota, there are a lot of trees, and judging by how many times I've read the map of the United States, like the vast majority of the states in America, like like the vast majority of the states in America are landlocked. I'm not like New York, New Jersey, like for the states in most of the East Coast and most of the West Coast, it's not landlocked. But I would say that the vast majority of the states in America are landlocked. So you can so even though the country, the United States, it's not landlocked, there are states, the vast majority of the states in America are landlocked. So living in a landlocked state, you'd be experiencing a lot of things like extreme temperatures and whatnot. But for those who live on the coasts, they can for those who live on the coast, tolerate, they can know like humidity, etc. And also another thing that's been discussed, but I would say has representation. It would be the United States Capitol, Washington D.C. Now, Washington D.C. It's called the Washington Metropolitan Area, but they also call it the National Capital Region. Where I'm from in the Philippines, our capital city, Manila. There's Metro Manila, which we formed it as the National Capital Region. So that's what I like to discuss about the least discussed part of the United States, which would be the Midwest, like the Dakotas, because I would say it's because the population there is not so much. So I guess that's why it's not really discussed. And for those who say that it's a boring place, me personally, since I haven't experienced it, and reading people about the Midwest, they would say it's a boring part of the U.S. But in my opinion, I don't think it's boring. Like you have to experience it first, so that way you won't find it boring. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the least discussed part of the United States. For Washington D.C., I'm not going to include this because a lot of films get a lot of films, and some video games get a lot of representation in the United States capital city. But me personally, if you love your country, never forget your capital city. When you learn geography a lot, you can learn a lot of cities, but the one thing that you should never forget is the capital city. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for this video. Bye-bye.